What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan, and a very happy Sunday to all of you. It is Sunday, January 29th, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. So in today's reaction video, we'll be reacting to the 4th episode of the 2nd season of Spectre, and the title of today's episode is the Yukiona's Innocence. So I want to start this video by once again emphasizing how pleased and happy I am with the overall delivery of the first 3 episodes. The first episode was meant to bring us back into the mix of what this show is about, and the second and third episode were meant to establish our new main characters of Muto and Yukiona and their story and where we are going to go with this next arc. So, you know, like I said in the earlier videos, and even as I said last week, you know, one of the biggest issues of the first season for much of the community was a lot of talking, not a lot of action, and a lot of confusion with where we were actually trying to go. On top of that, there was actually a chunk of the community that did not like Kyokou whatsoever. They thought that she was very manipulative and just evil at times and just outright not a good person to be around. And we wanted to see if that would improve in any way, shape, or form in this season. And I personally think that this season so far is giving me next to just about everything that I could have possibly wanted at this stage in the game. I mean, the story is cohesive. It flows very well. I am very attached to Yukiona and Muto as the main characters of this particular arc, and I'm sold into what we're trying to accomplish. I mean, the entirety of learning about Muto and learning about his life and his struggles and where he came from, the loss of his marriage, the loss of his business, his best friend trying to kill him, and then Yukiona becoming attached to him and actually becoming a really dedicated person to him, as we learned last episode. There's not much more that I could want at this stage in the game, and I'm even impressed with the way that the presentation was given by Kyokou when she was trying to break down to him, you know, the real negative side of things. But it was really meant for him to understand that he has someone by his side that will walk whatever path is necessary to make sure his innocence is proven now that he's been falsely accused of a murder that we as the viewers obviously know he did not commit. Now, I want to say this. I realized when I did my reaction after I posted it and was reading through forums, there was actually a chunk of the community that hated the last episode, but not because of anything that Muto or Yukiona did, but because of Kyokou, the goddess of wisdom herself. A lot of you actually completely hated the way that she had to present the different sides of the scenario to him to get him to understand what the situation was at play. The fact that even if he used her as a witness, even if that was possible, you know, with her being a spirit of yokai, that might not even get him to the point that he's trying to get to. And while that may clear one thing, it will not address the bigger issue he has, which is having no faith and confidence in people and choosing not to get attached. And so her entire thought process around that was to get him to truly understand that Yukiona would throw it all away for him. Like, beyond love and everything, she literally believes in this man to the highest level, and to the point that she would even go against her own goddess in order to prove his innocence and his worth to both himself and to the world. And a lot of your perspectives on that was just basically that she didn't need to do it that way. She could have gone about it a bit easier, and especially on Yukiona. And I will admit that yes, it was hard on Yukiona. She was not. He was one thing, but she was literally getting ready to have a whole panic attack in the middle of listening to Kyokou basically express all of these things about what he could have been doing and wanting to use and take advantage of Yukiona. And we just knew that that wasn't the case, and she knew that he wasn't that type of person, and a lot of you were very sensitive to that. But I personally think it was done very well. I hate to say it that way, and while in a normal situation I would agree with y'all, I actually kind of disagree this time. He needed cold hard facts thrown at his face so that he would understand the true gravity of how this situation could go, and the fact that what might free him from a court trial or being arrested or charged with something may not free him from his inner demons and his inner struggles that he's had with a person. I personally think she did exactly what needed to be done there. And while I typically would sit here and say that yes, she can be really aggressive and annoying and manipulative at times, I personally think that that was the appropriate thing to do at that time. It woke him up to his reality that he actually has someone who not only loves him but will stay by his side through everything, and literally would go against her God for this. And for her, it basically will get them moving in the direction that we know they're going to move. We're rooting for them to move. We want them to move, and everything in between. So I respect the fact that some of the community did not like the presentation by her last week, but I personally did not take it in the way that some of you did. And for the vast majority of the community was more or less in line with how I was feeling last week, where we feel that that is, if anything, going to get them moving right on along as the couple that we know they're going to be. And I cannot wait until they become official, because I can tell you, I honestly want a spinoff with just them after this arc is done. I don't even know how this arc is going to go to the end, or if they're going to hold to this high level that we've been at so far. I hope they do. But even if for some reason they don't, which I really pray they don't, because so far you're doing really damn good. Keep up the good work. I would love to see a spinoff just around Muto and Yukiona and their day-to-day life with each other. So when I'm this attached, you can tell that I'm very happy with the direction we're going. They've corrected almost everything that I had an issue with in the first season, and I just want them to keep up the work from here. Do not lose this momentum. It's perfectly fine with wanting to give us dialogue and heavy plot points, but let's make sure that it's all flowing in a way that keeps the audience captivated and engaged. And if the first 3 episodes are any indication, I'm very confident that we will achieve that from this point to the end of the series, because we have 2 new characters that are incredibly enjoyable to see on screen. So, that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Again, I say this in my other video, but as a reminder for those of you who were watching my Nier Automata version 1.1a reactions, Nier Automata is on a hiatus indefinitely, so you'll notice that there is a reaction missing from my page. That is completely intentional, because it is not currently being released due to COVID-19 production challenges. So we'll be a little shorter on reactions. I had 7, but I'll only be doing 6, but this is one of my most enjoyed reactions each week. And once I get some water and get the video set up, we'll go ahead and get this 4th episode reaction started. Alright, and I am back, and we're ready to get this started. So again, this is the 4th episode of the 2nd season of Spectre, and the title of the episode is the Yukiona's Innocence. So let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1. Well, they're just like, she just knows everything. Also, I do wonder when he's going to actually show up, since he decided not to be present for this part of everything. What if he just what if our boy Kudo just skips out on this whole arc? We never see him until the end. My man's just like, I don't have any time for her right now. I still say that the 2 of them have such a interesting dynamic. Whether it's good or bad, I still don't know. But interesting, I feel, is the appropriate word for this. Oh wow! So whatever it is not even targeting him. Yeah, because they literally don't have anything against you, even in Japanese law, because otherwise they would have arrested you by now. No, they don't have anything. I mean, given the situation of things, probably. Yeah. It's just like, what in the world? Yeah, there's just nothing there. Whether it be evidence of him being at the unit or what he was doing the evening or slightly before or after, there's just nothing there. The only way that they'd be able to arrest you is if they bullshitted the whole thing because they wanted to close the case. Which, being is Japanese law. Right. So it all checked out for him because he actually acted shocked, which would have went completely against what they were expecting. However, this would also state that the police department is actually acting competent, which, for those who know about, again, Japanese law and how the police work, they're a lot of times they're anything but competent. But again, that was all invalidated once they got to his place. Yeah, but you'll never be able to kill him. So, first off, no, because the person who gets cheated on, if you don't do that, don't put that blame on yourself. And who's that? Wait. Oh, the one person. Oh, damn. If I'm correct, that's the one person who has been checking in and trying. Yo, that's dirty. Ain't not a damn person around you that's not Yukiona for you, man. This is whack. The short end of every stick. That's garbage. That's whack. Fuck, this man can't catch a damn break. Oh! Yeah, I'm just a little confused with why she. Yeah, okay, I want to make sure I wasn't just lost here. Why would she be against you, though? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. But why? I mean, outside of the obvious that everyone. Yeah, and so if she doesn't even have the answer, what the hell? What was up with these people that was in your damn company? Trash. Well, that and the fact that this police department actually seems competent, so. Actually, that helped you in a number of ways. And that's why I agree with the way she did that. She doesn't really care about him specifically because he's not, humans aren't who she answers to, but she does care about Yukiona, which means she has to care about him. Listen, she had her ways. That is some garbage stuff, man. It's up to you now. Case solved! However, the problems are only beginning now that we've learned who it is. I know you are so happy. Uh-oh. Ah! Welcome. Right after I was talking about you. A whole savage. It's gonna be okay. Oh. Bone already? Who says that? or or maybe we're not gonna follow that. I thought it was gonna stretch over the whole episode, but maybe not. Or maybe it will. Alright. I have to remember that everything she says out her mouth is a lie. Okay, so maybe we're gonna wrap that up here, or we'll get back to that. I really want to follow that case, though. Bruh, but why write his name, though? Which I could get that, but just. Yeah. Like, that's really all I'm wondering now. So, so she just went cuckoo for Coco everything. Like, so it was really just love. And just a sick, twisted type of love. Yeah, she probably snapped back out of just being. They having the sex tonight. He deserves a break. He really deserves a break. No, I was about to say, I hope she doesn't freeze him during sex. relatively problematic. We can make it work. I'm not gonna lie, in its own way, it feels like we just wrapped up the arc, but also we could continue it. I like that there's so many different ways they could decide to go with this, and I would enjoy it either way. Whether we continue that investigation through the rest of the season, or if we try kind of deviate, or if that murder and investigation leads up into something else, or someone else kind of pulling the strings around the girl who basically put all of this into motion, which is the girl that had been keeping in communication with him. So there's so many ways that this could go. I kind of wanted this to be the whole... See, I think when I kept saying that this was setting up this arc for the season, it's because the Steel Lady arc lasted the whole season. So you just automatically assume that something's going to take the whole season. So, but either way, I'm satisfied. It felt like it flowed really well, in which, regardless of how this goes, I'll still feel satisfied. But this is a high pedestal that they've set this season at, and I just don't want them to deviate, and it goes down to the average pedestal again. So we'll see. All right, so there's quite a bit to unpack there. I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible, though. Again, when there's a lot of dialogue, you kind of want to try to stay focused. So I'm just going to try to stay focused to the main points of how I feel about this episode. So first off, everything that the Goddess of Wisdom says out of her mouth, I need to perceive as a lie unless otherwise proven different. She gave the announcement that he went off to do some bullshit, which is why he couldn't be present for her to talk with Muto and Yukiona, but that in actuality was not the truth. She told him to stay back because with her being a yokai and seeing him being a part yokai, part him being this hybrid, and the fact that he's eating mermaid flesh and everything, he looks like an absolute savage animal in the eyes of someone like Yukiona. She could have froze up in terror and they never would have made progress with this. So I can completely understand why he could not be present for that now. That was perfectly fine. Now, as far as everything that our Goddess of Wisdom gave in regards to the murder case, all the different scenarios, and the fact that it ended up being Izuka, the very girl that we had saw make that call. We saw the phone call when he was in the window, but we didn't, see any of the monologue or the interaction that happened with the ex-wife and then, of course, the subsequent murder until just now. And it really just comes down to sick, twisted love. You put in your mind that you want to be someone's number one. They won't let you be a number one. And I'm sure that for Izuka, the girl who actually committed this murder, I'm sure that it started off with the purest of intentions, but there's just something that works in the brain. I don't know. Again, I don't work in that. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't really understand what cell it is that triggers, the response that it triggers when people decide to just go absolutely fucking batshit crazy. But in her case, it went from her just genuinely caring and wanting to be a support and also having her own love for him to her making this sick, twisted fantasy of wanting to have him all for herself. But then she snapped out of it. Very different from another character and another show I'm going to say in just a moment. So she snapped. She decides, you know what, fine, I'm going to get back at the crazy bitch, excuse my language, that decided to cheat on him and tried to murder him and everything. and she ended up killing her, but then she decides, well, I'm going to put him in a situation where he's going to get lonely again, and then I'll swoop in again to be able to give my support in whatever way I can in this sick, twisted thing, in a sick, twisted fantasy. The only issue is she didn't think out all the different variables that would go with that. And in my case, I didn't think that the police department in the damn show was actually going to be competent. Because I have said this 5 or 6 times this video. There are plenty of videos up on YouTube. You can go search them after this reaction that tells you about how inefficient and how unfair and biased Japanese law is, how police are. Japan does not have a 99.9%, well, I'll just say 99%. Well, I'll spare them the point percentage to that. But they have a 99% conviction rate, and they don't just have a 99% conviction rate without a reason. They do whatever is necessary to wrap up a case quickly and efficiently, even if the wrap up of that case does not get them the right person. So my first thing here was maybe they don't want to sit on this case long enough, so they're just going to go ahead and throw Muto out to the wolves and just call it a done deal. But it actually looks like we have a competent police force and competent detectives who actually easily realized that him hesitating at the alibi threw off their entire plan, because they thought that he would immediately shout an alibi given the circumstances, what was left behind, and that wasn't the case, which immediately took him away as a suspect. Of course, we didn't know that until the goddess told us about what she found in her investigation, and that's another benefit. It just works that because she has the attachment to the ghosts, the spirits, the Ayakashas, everything that exists in that realm, she can get a first-hand account of pretty much anything that happens in the world if she really needs to, and that truly helped benefit us here. Which, because that is the case, I guess I can understand why this plot line would not go the entire season if it is not going to actually, or if we're going to deviate, or if we're going to focus on something else and then come back to this plot line, because that is possible that while this is going on, there could be a much bigger beast that's building, but that could either tie into this, or I could just be completely wrong and we could actually have just ended the arc and we'll be moving on to another arc segment in episode 5. Whatever way, if they do go that way, though, I want to say that I am satisfied. I felt that this flowed really well. I feel that this either could have gone as like one half of the show, and now the next part's going to be the second half of the show, or this could have been a plot that I could have gotten behind for the full season. I haven't read the source material, so I don't know. And again, if you have read the source material, please do not spoil what happens next. Obviously, we know that Muto and Yukiona are going to be doing the do for sure later tonight their time, of course. Well, tonight my time too. Who knows? But I want to say, putting all that aside and the lewdness of that, I am really happy that he has someone like Yukiona. She is the type of rock, the type of support that all of us in one way or another deserve to have. I wish I had that kind of bond. It's so wholesome and so wonderful to see. And at the end of the day, those are two really good people for each other. And while I know some of you did not like the way that Kyokou presented that initial part, it's like she said, she needed to understand more than just the case at hand, but he needed to be saved and rescued from himself and his mind also. And by doing it the way she did, now he can be at peace. And as she said, as time goes on, because this case will probably take a while, unfortunately, it looks like they pretty much are going to have to start from square one trying to build the alibi, but a competent detective team, hopefully in a couple of months, they'll have a case together and they'll be able to present that case and ultimately arrest the girl that we now know was the girl that was in his company. That was the only one communicating with him. So I'm going to wrap it right there. There was a lot to unpack here. I'm sure there'll be some other reactors that might go a little deeper there. But I just want to wrap this by saying I like this episode, and whether this is the end of this arc or not, which I hope it's not, because I need Yukiona in my life every episode. I really did enjoy this. I really have enjoyed this presentation up to this point, and I'm just very anxious to see what episode 5 is going to present us. So I will go ahead and wrap this reaction up there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts if you are watching the show. This was actually my most watched reaction the last 2 weeks, so thank you so much to those of you who watched the reaction. I really do appreciate it. it. I will actually be honest, I did not expect to be enjoying the season as much as I'm enjoying it at this current moment. But again, a lot of people gave up on the show, and I'm glad that I persevered and continued to give it a fighting chance because I felt where they were trying to go last season. I just wanted to see it flow a little better, and I think this flowed really well. And this was a really great plot and synopsis to get around at this stage in the show and the season. So that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you did like the video reaction, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So I will see all of you wonderful people next Sunday for the 5th episode of the 2nd season of Spectre Season 2. And until that time, catch you later.